Hello, my name is Sheila Arrett, and I'm an infant and early childhood mental health consultant at Children's Resource Center. Thanks for joining today's parent chat. We'll be discussing thriving during the holidays with young children. It's about this time of year. Usually, you start seeing articles or self help videos about surviving the holidays and managing holiday stress. And it's true, the holidays can be a stressful time. There's generally speaking more activities to go to, family get togethers, work commitments, community events, and that all entails food and gifts to buy. And so there's a lot of extra on an adult's to do list. And this can be stressful and leave us all feeling just worn out at the end of the holiday season. Um, but that being said, it's not only stressful for adults, it's also for kids as well. It can be a stressful time. The added get togethers throws off schedules and um, puts them around people that maybe they're not used to spending time with. And the extra music and lights, it can be overstimulating for kids. And by the end of it, they're dysregulated and seeing maybe some unexpected behaviors that usually you don't have. This can be tiring. So, what do we do with all these things that can wear us down? The first of which is as adults, we need to know what helps regulate our stress all year long, but particularly during the season where there can be some heightened stress. And there are many self help tips out there, videos, tip sheets, and whatnot. And those are great. But if you don't know what works for you, how great are they? So, finding not only one thing, but having multiple go tos that you can have based on different situations. Watching a funny video is helps you relax. That's probably not going to be helpful in every setting because you might not always have that available. But what are those things that you could take with you anywhere? But adding to do items to an already busy to do list can just make you feel more overwhelmed. So I like this diagram from MedMD, less than 15 minutes. Could you find less than 15 minutes? Probably. And they're simple things. Even if you're at work all day and then have to go home and do dinner and take care of the kids, can you find some time to just get up and stretch? Or your to-do list is probably pretty long right now. Can you cross something, find the easy one and cross it off? Um, or turn on some music while you're making dinner. Some things that can just help reduce some of that stress and regulate our own moods. Because, as I said, kids feed off of our emotions as the caregivers. And I like this diagram. When we are dysregulated, it's like a storm, right? And particularly during the holiday seasons, it can feel like a storm with all the added pressure. And same for the children. So, stormy time of the year, but when we can be calm, we can help regulate their storm and help them manage their own emotions and thereby not seeing as many of those challenging behaviors that can just throw everything off and make it all the worse. So, I like this diagram about code regulation. The next thing that you can do is take hold of managing your holiday schedule. I don't know about you, but I don't want to just survive this month and a half of the holiday season. I want to be able to enjoy it. And I want to make memories with the family and friends that I spend time with. I'm spending time with them. And especially when there's children involved, this can be a special time of year where great memories are made and fun experiences are had that carry on and they remember even to adulthood. So, one of the things that you have to do is realize what's important to you as the adult and be able to take hold of your calendar because there are many things that are going to try to impede and just add pressure to the schedule. And so, when it's too full, that can overwhelm you and your family and take away from those things that are really important. So, considering what are your priorities and what are those things that need to happen now versus could wait. A lot of things um, need to feel like they need to be scheduled in December. But is that really necessary? Could some of them be pushed back to maybe January when there's less going on typically? It's usually, at least in Northern Ohio, dreary and snowy and cold and don't want to go out? Could we plan an event then to help spread some things out so they're not all bunched together and feeling so rushed and from one activity to the next? And when you establish your priorities, that means that maybe some of those things that people want to do, you have to say no to, and that's okay. Um, you, as the caregiver for your home and raising your children, you have to decide what's best for you. And over scheduling yourself and pushing yourself and your children to your limits isn't going to be healthy for you or enjoyable for anyone if you're all stressed out and tired. So, what are those things that have to be a yes and that are a priority for you, but what could maybe wait or be no altogether? And you can include your children in picking out some of those things that maybe you'll be a part of. So, if there's some community events or things that you do as a family, what are those things that are important for your children? And this could even be like decorating the house. That's a thing that can be fun, but it's also something that just becomes like another item on the to-do list at times. So could the children be a part of that? Here, letting them be a part of planning and decorating helps them uh, know that they're important, that their voice is heard, that they have a voice, and that it also gives them a sense of what is to come, which is really important, especially around the holiday season because schedules usually get thrown off. And one thing that's important for especially young children is to keeping a routine as much as possible. I know with different events being scheduled and places to go, it can be hard to keep your normal routine. So even if it's just a part of like your bedtime routine, could you keep that part consistent so that children have that sense of security and safety that a schedule brings to them? When there is a change in schedules, which is going to happen when there's unusual events going on, it's letting your children know as much ahead of time as possible that there is going to be a change of schedule. And this could simply be that first we're going to do this and then we're going to do this. Keeping it, especially the younger the child is, the less information given, but so giving them a heads up that there's a change. And consider too, if your child has more than one home, letting them know what the plan is for the holiday. It can be concerning for a young child to wonder who do I get to spend the holiday with? Am I going to be at mom's house or dad's house? Um, and uh, do I get to see my extended family or whatnot? So as much as possible, just letting them uh, know what the plan is and when there's a change out of the normal plan. And also, because the holiday season tends to be busy with more events and places to go, schedule some quiet time for the whole family, adults and children. We as adults need some downtime, and so do kids. It's important. Um, and so, this is important all year long, but especially during the holidays. And this could be something simple as reading a book or drawing. Uh, Mind Yeti is a great mindfulness activity guided on you can find it on YouTube, and it's for kids and it's great interaction that way. And this is something that they can use to just help relax and have some downtime, which is important. Visiting family is a big part of holidays or friends who are like family. And with that, being around different people and different locations, it can lead to some different behaviors from your children because it's a different setting and maybe they think they can act differently in those settings. So, one way to help alleviate some of those unwanted behaviors is to talk to family ahead of time, especially if there's a behavior that you're working with your children on or a skill that they're developing. Letting family know ahead of time how you're addressing that and what they can do to help you. That way, all the adults are on the same page and your child is getting consistent messages from the adults that are near them. The same is true for letting your kid know that what is expected of them when they go to this location or that um, that family member's house. Let's say there's a service or a program that you're going to, letting your children know what they need to do during that time is important. With visiting family and different activities and during the holidays, traveling is often a big part of that. Even this year, there might be some traveling. So here's some tips for if you are traveling for the holidays with your kids. Make sure to pack their comfort item. If your child has a blanket or a teddy bear or stuffed animal that they cling to, make sure that comes with. That'll help give them a sense of security and safety that those items bring. If your child is later toddler or even preschool age, they can be a part of helping decide what they pack. This could even be just keeping it simple with, would you like this toy or that one, or this shirt or that shirt? Um, that helps give them the idea that, oh yeah, you are going someplace, but they know what is coming with. If you're got a longer trip, having some activities to help that travel time and keep the kids occupied is great. Having several different items that they can go to keep them occupied will help make the travel much more enjoyable for you and the children as well. If you are driving and you have a longer trip, taking some stops along the way is really helpful. Children are in their car seats and need to get up and wiggle every couple hours. And so planning in some time for rest stops. If you're driving when the children are awake, sometimes parents will choose to drive when they're sleeping to just alleviate all that together. And then the last thing is you can create a social story about the behavioral expectations for the new place or the experience that you're going to have. So let's say that you're going to, if you are flying and you're going to fly for the first time with your child, you can make a story about what it's going to be like to go to the airport and how you have to go through security and get on the flight and what's expected of children on a flight and the things that they can do while they're flying. So those are some tips for traveling with young kids, and hope that experience goes well for you with that. The last thing that I have is this is a season that there, especially for children, there's a lot of talk around what would you like? What are you going to get? And opening presents and receiving things. But it could be an opportunity for your children to learn about caring for others, which is a great social skill, but also it's a positive. We often get positive emotions when we do something kind for someone else, and so while we may not be able to do our normal things this year of visiting someone in a nursing home or whatnot, there's still things that can be done this year of maybe making a craft or writing a note or a letter. And I especially think of people who are in tougher situations this year. Maybe it's someone in a nursing home that can't get out and see family or have family come in and see them, or doctors and nurses in hospitals working to keep everyone safe right now. Is there an opportunity that your child could do something, and you and your child could do something to support those individuals as well? So I had several resources that I looked at for these topics. Conscious Discipline had a great podcast that I listened to. The University of Minnesota Extension had a great tip sheet for families that are separated or divorced, and how to help children in those times. And then Technical Assistance Center on Social Emotional Interventions for Young Children, it's a mouthful, has a great tip sheet for the holidays as well. And beyond that, you can always find more resources on our YouTube channel. We now have over 100 videos of social emotional topics for parents and caregivers of young children, birth to 8 years old. We've got spectrum there. And then on Facebook, you can find us. We're regularly posting great things that we find on, again, social and emotional topics for young children. So thanks for watching.